Earlier, everyone, again, welcome and thank you for attending our College and Career Decision Day, where we will show you how to celebrate your students' next steps. So before we begin, we always like to thank our sponsors because everything we provide is for free. We do not charge for any of the services, and we are able to do it because of our sponsors. So we would like to thank them. And of course, our partners, Alabama Commission on Higher Education, Alabama Community College System, Alabama State Department of Education, they are in every step with us on this. We collaborate with them. And then we also collaborate with Get Educated, which is the common Black college application. So your students get to apply for free. The application fees is for free. We do not charge y'all anything, and the code I think all of you have. If you don't, please send us an email or put it on chat over here and we'll make sure you have access to it. Some housekeeping: please keep your microphones on mute at all times to avoid any kind of feedback during the presentation. This webinar will be recorded and it'll be posted on our YouTube channel. You can submit questions throughout the webinar using the chat feature and answer poll questions to receive your professional development credit. So we'll be sharing, in case you have missed the professional development credit, like the login details, we'll be sharing it at the end. So you will please make sure you answer all the poll questions so you receive that credit. So we are on social media. You can share on social media and tag us at AL Goes to College, and use all the hashtags that are mentioned at the bottom, because this makes, what it does is it helps us promote what work you are doing, and it helps us get on the national scene. So as all of you, I think most of you are already, all of you are signed up for our Alabama 2022-2023 Alabama Goes to College campaign. And this is the last webinar in those series. And please feel free to reach out to us, even though this is the last webinar we are hosting, but feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Just send us an email and we will get to that. So the campaign components, I know all of you know this by now. There are 3 components to the campaign: Cash for College, Alabama College Application Week, and College and Career Decision Day. So Cash for College is nothing but FAFSA completion. Alabama College Application Week, you all know there are 2 weeks that are that the colleges in and around Alabama waive off their application fees for the students to apply, once in the fall and once in the spring. And then we have College and Career Decision Day, which we will be going into more in depth with that component today. So what we will get from this webinar is, what is Career and College and Career Decision Day? When should you celebrate? Who should be involved? How should you celebrate? And where to start? So here's a poll question. I am sure I'll be able to launch the poll. So once students have made their decisions, does your school program employ any targeted strategies to prevent summer melt? And as you can see over there, it's mentioned, what is summer melt? It's a phenomenon in which high school graduates apply, are accepted, and say they plan to enroll in college, but don't. Because during summer, we are not in constant touch with them. So we have 22% who are saying yes, 50% say no, and I'd like to learn more, 33%. Now, those who all would like to learn more, please make sure that you send us an email at algoestocollege at alabamapossible.org, and we will kind of work with you one-on-one and make sure you have the information that you need. Okay. We go on to the next slide. So what is College and Career Decision Day? So College and Career Decision Day it began with the launch of Reach Higher, when President Obama's, the First Lady, Mrs. Michelle Obama, she started the Reach Higher initiative. It was basically to celebrate the students for whatever decisions they had made, whether going to college, whether it's a 2-year, 4-year college, whether it's going into workforce, whether it's enlisting in military, any kind of decisions that they make post-secondary, that's after high school, we celebrate them. And there are sometimes students just decide not to do anything. So what we have shared with our counselors when they have had that question is that what you can do is you can show the progress that the student has made since the student has been a senior. So when he started out and when that student completed. So we kind of make sure that each and every student is celebrated. So when should you celebrate? So any time in the month of May is the right time to celebrate. So this year, usually it used to be May 1st, Better Make Room and Reach Higher used to do it May 1st, but this year they have moved it to May 7th. But we do not, because we know you all are having a lot to do, the seniors have a lot to do. So whenever you can find time for your class, your senior class to celebrate should be the time to celebrate. And May 1st to 31st, because May 1st, every senior has to make the decision that they want to make, especially if they're going to a college. So, but between May 1st and 31st, you can celebrate any day. And then if you go to and register at college signing day .bettermakeroom, like I have mentioned, .org, then what will happen is that will give you a toolkit. Once you register yourselves, that'll give you, and it's for free. It'll give you a free toolkit that you can use to celebrate your students. Who should be involved? So I know most of you do this already, but I just wanted to kind of go through this, like you should involve parents, faculty and staff in your schools. Of course, counselors, school counselors are always involved in this. Administration, like maybe a principal can come and say a few words and congratulate the students. So whoever you can get, you should get to celebrate your students. If you can get the local elected officials like the mayor or the city councilman, this kind of, I think, gives encouragement to the students and lets them know that everybody cares about them, not only their teachers and the faculty, but people in the community also care about them and where they go. How to celebrate? So there are different ways you can celebrate your students. Virtually through webinars, you can host webinars if you want, and if you need any kind of guidance on that, let us know and we will assist you. Social media, you can post on social media, and like I mentioned, please tag us so we can always reshare those and show what our state is doing or what our counselors and career coaches across the state are doing. And then you can have in person, either in the school or at a community event, at a church, whatever you want to do. So virtually webinars, you can have keynote speeches, then you can ask students to make and share online videos. Students can talk about which college they selected, why they selected, all those kind of things students can do. And then you have to have a keynote speaker. Social media postings, you have students post pictures in their gear, make signs celebrating college and career decision day, post on social media using hashtags. And we have mentioned those 2 hashtags. That again is to get you on the national platform, because if you use those, people can just click on college signing day and your posts will also pull up. So it's a great thing to use those 2 hashtags. And then of course, like I mentioned, Alabama Possible, please make sure you tag us too. In person, you can do it in school. You can have it as a pep rally, get your cheerleaders coming and cheering for these. And those are the ways you could actually engage your sophomores and juniors also. Then you ask students to wear a t-shirt from their choice and post it on social media, coordinate a virtual or physical field trip. All these are for your students that you can do. Take photos of students in a cap and gown with signs of where they want their occupation to be if they are going into workforce. So a lot of students might want to do a credential, right? Go in for certification courses. So make sure you celebrate them too. Then you can design a bulletin board if you want with school staff photos, and make sure you mention over there where they attended college. And then you can host a door decorating contest, like maybe ask students wherever you want them to decorate, they can do that too. Then school again continues, prepare a senior PowerPoint to share on social media with pictures and names, have a senior roll call, design a commitment to my future pledge and send to students, host a family college night, invite the family, invite the parents, the siblings, so they can also, the siblings can get encouraged, right? My older brother or sister is going to college, I should be on that path, or going into workforce, whatever they want to do. And they can post those on social media. Now, how can you do it in the community? Have seniors decorate. So these are tips that we actually have received from the counselors that they have done in the past years. So especially since COVID, this community celebration had become more prevalent. So have seniors decorate their mailboxes, doors, and windows at their home. So there was a school, of course, the population of that school was really little, and the counselor herself went and left baskets in each students at each student's home. It was a small community, and you all are not expected to do that, but you can get the students, you can provide the students with, if you have any kind of decorations or anything, and they can do it themselves. Then have people in the community send notes or place cards in the mailboxes of seniors or graduates. Now, if you're, wherever you all go to church, you can ask that church if they can have a college signing day and kind of encourage, those students and acknowledge them. So involve the lower grade levels, create common app account. So what you can do, the junior class can help plan and prepare. So they can help you in the process, so you are not doing everything by yourselves, get them involved, and the sophomore class can help decorate. And like I mentioned earlier, like some examples could be like maybe the junior classmen can introduce the students that are there or call out the names of the students. So that would be a great way to kind of encourage them into the college going process. So where to host your event? Again, social media, you could do live, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat. School website, you can acknowledge or celebrate them on your school websites, local radio stations, local television stations. All these, if you all have access, you can do all this. And maybe I think, how in schools you all have announcements. Maybe one day just announce all the students' name. These are the seniors, and that also could give them encouragement. Where to start? How do you start this celebration process, right? You choose a day or week in May to celebrate. Now, each school, like I mentioned, from May 1st to 31st, you can celebrate any day, because I know there are a lot of exams scheduled. There are a lot of other things that the seniors need to do too. So make sure you choose a day that works best for you. Then you go ahead and register at bettermakeroom.org and download the college signing day toolkit. All this is free. So make sure this would be a great access. So make sure you have access to this by signing into bettermakeroom.org. Now I would like to invite Ms. Kelly Muncher from Lamp High School to share some of the things that she did last year.
Hi. Thanks for letting me do this. I think in all my years of doing college signing day, I think I've done just about everything everybody has suggested over the years, but I think this is the most fun I have ever had. Lamp is a very unique school, and so one of the things that we ran into, number one, was still dealing with some COVID issues, because we were very limited on how many parents we could have, and some other issues. But the biggest thing that we ran into was AP testing. So trying to figure out what to do for college signing day and battle through AP testing, because we can't interrupt anything for AP testing. So, and it's like, it's the end of the year. How are we going to have awards day? So we came up with the idea to have Declaration Day and Awards Day all at the same time. So the kids had, they're very competitive down here. They don't like telling anybody anything. And so I had always, I'm going to say this, I got this idea from somebody else. That my predecessor at another school had always posted when they got accepted, on their senior lockers. We have lockers at Lamp. We just don't use them. So I started making use of them and posted their acceptance letters everywhere. And so as they got accepted and everything, but nobody knew where they were going because they would never, that was, we've always did that for signing day. So instead of getting all, fancy dancy for awards day, we put on our t-shirts. And so we did a little summary for everybody and announced their scholarships. So the recruiters came out to do their big announcements, for where they got their offers from, and then they would announce where they're going. So as you can see, this is one of my favorite kids, Tanner. He's going to Auburn. And this is Kayla Houston. She was one of our big award winners, and she had just gotten back the day before from touring Notre Dame to make sure that's where she was going. So if y'all go to the next slide. This is one of our kids that is Song Yu. She was one of our Questbridge students, and she got into Wisconsin. And then that is oh my, is that, yes, that's Jane. She was one of our national merits, so she went to New York. And we had them divided out, they got to process in, process out, and if you'll go to the next slide. Can't remember, yes. But we had, somebody brought in their Bama Bound flags, and we took group pictures. If you'll go to the next slide. That where they got to do their Auburn to see, where our biggest groups were going. We had, we have had a large acceptance group to each one. If you go to the next one, please. Yes, there we are. Because here's the other thing, we are traditionally not a school that has direct applications to go to direct Navy. So this is April and Mason. Both of them went direct Navy last year, because we are normally a school that if they're going military route, they are academies. And we have one child that went to West Point last year. But we were super proud of these kids because they directly enlisted. And so, of course, it had been a long time. In fact, they didn't know they gave up. My principal standing there because he didn't know they gave out stoles. He's like, they do what? And I said, yes, they give out stoles, because I'm from a traditional setting. I said, because they like to acknowledge this commitment that they're making. But Mason went to the nuclear sub program. April went into the medic program because she wants to be a doctor. And so, but they enlisted straight off. And so that was unusual for Lamp. And we're in Montgomery, so we have a huge, most of their parents serve. So, it had just been something that was unusual. And so, because it just had been a while. And so, in fact, Mr. Monson had, we have our recruiters that had come in. It had also been a very long time that the recruiters had been in the building. And he's not opposed to the recruiters. He was just taken it by surprise how much the recruiters came in. He's like, well, none of the other counselors just let them come in like that. And I'm like, they're supposed to be here. Because there's, I'm like, now with these two children, I didn't have to use the recruiters like I normally do, because, normally they're in the background, helping me drag the children across the stage. But here I didn't have to have that. If y'all go to the next slide, that may be, okay, you'll go back. But we just had a great time that day doing all this, because like I said, we called out all their awards and everything that day. And I would invite, we'd had our college and career fair for the juniors the week before, 2 weeks before. So it gave me a chance to remind everybody, hey, we're having our award ceremony this day. Please remember to come in and present your awards. Because we would love for y'all to be there to present. We had the VFW came in to help present some of the awards. If I didn't have a recruiter there, I got my faculty members. I had one child that was suffering from burnout because of his AP credits and everything. He was going straight to the workforce. And so he was taking a gap year. So like I said, because of his AP credits, Publix was able to offer him an assistant manager's job. But when we're going around talking about their scholarships and everything, we don't want to put a child on display. Or at least I don't, because like I said, they have such a competitive nature. I mean, I had children upwards of, $1.7 million individually. There are schools that, that happens, children that have $5,000 in scholarship money. So we're not to put them on display when we were announcing that, there's a way to twist that around. I had one child last year. She wanted to go to Ole Miss. She wouldn't apply anywhere else. No matter how much I begged her during college application week, she wouldn't do it. Same story this year. I had half a dozen of them. It's like, nope, going here, nowhere else. And it was more so true this year than last year. So I'm writing the script for this year, and it's the same story because we enjoyed this so much. We're doing it again this year. It's next Thursday. And my recruiters enjoyed it so much that we're doing it again this year, the same way. So, so we're just having a blast getting it ready for everybody to attend, because it just honors all the work that they have done. And so it's just been great. So that's all for me. So
Thank you so much, Ms. Mancha, for sharing all that you've done for your students in celebrating them. I'm sure everybody has gotten some ideas. I wanted to share a few resources before we go into the Q&A session. So Reach Higher, like I mentioned, they actually were launched in 2014. And you can look up for any kind of examples or any kind of things that you can do, any kind of, how would I mention, any kind of ideas or initiatives that you could use for your school. You can look them up. Better Make Room, again, is the same than College Signing Day. It's part of Better Make Room. When, this all began like College Signing Day, like, how athletes have signing days, right? It is a big, huge hoopla and all that. So we wanted, like, Reach Higher and Better Make Room was started with that in mind, to celebrate not only the athletes, but each and every student, each and every senior, no matter what decision they have made. So that is how this all began. And I think it has provided a lot of encouragement to the students. And if you invite your sophomore and junior classes, I think they also would get encouragement and see where their seniors are going. So next questions. Michaela, all yours.
Good morning, everyone. And so we are going to go ahead and start with our Q&A. And so if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat right now. And then also, if since many of you have already done a decision day, if you have an answer to one of the questions, please write that in the chat as well, because we would love to learn from you too. So my first question is going to be to Kelly. And so what are the steps that you take to prepare for a decision day event, and about how far ahead do you plan for the decision day event?
Since this has been, since I knew after the kids had so much fun with this one last year, and I knew that this is the one I wanted to stick with, because I've done a little bit of variety, because I see that somebody has thrown up there that what do you do when you don't know how to include them? I taught in a K-12 school for years, and it's like when that first one came out, it's like they don't have a plan. I always stuck with that enlist, enroll, employ idea that so many schools have got for their motto right now. Initially, and I would do anything. They have to have a plan. They've either got to get a job or go to school or go to the military, because they got to make money or somehow. And I know that sounds simple, but like I said, I worked in a K-12 school. Yeah, there we go. But so with this one, I started planning about 6 months ago, because this one, I mean, it really does take that long to get everything from the kids, from the recruiters, because to start thinking about what I need, because throwing the chairs out, getting their caps and gowns out to them takes about 5 minutes, but getting all the materials out and what to say and everything takes about 6 months because of doing all that. And then thinking of who all I want here and everything, because like I have a child that's getting an ROTC scholarship. Well, he wants his uncle to give it to him. Well, apparently the ROTC really wants to give it to him. So we've had to communicate that because ROTC is still going to give it to him, but his uncle's going to get to be there because his uncle's a captain. He had gotten the ROTC scholarship. He really wants to give it to it. But like my first event, like I said, was like the first year I was a high school counselor. And it was just as simple as us going into the auditorium and sitting down, and because I had 40 seniors, and it was us just sitting around on the stage with all the butcher paper from the cheerleading room and the markers and everything, and us just having a good old time. And because I had a lot of kids that had been at the Career Tech Center, and they were talking about like some of them had gotten jobs with a welding place in town, KMA that was in town. A lot of them were joining the military, and we were just having we took what was called our acceleration period for 30 minutes and just talked about what all we were going to be doing. The kids that were going to college had dressed up in their college shirts, kids that had enlisted had worn their shirt, and the kids that were just going straight to work, they just dressed up in what they'd wear to work. And we made signs, and we took one big old group photo. They put it in the yearbook for the next year. It was just as simple as that. I stole the idea one year that Oak Mountain used, where they put the sign up in the hallway and all day long. But Oak Mountain does it a little bit better than I did, where they put each school up and they signed under they had signs for all the schools and they would sign under it. But I just put a big old sign in the hallway one year and just let them sign what they were doing. I've just done it all. So.
Yes, those are really great ideas. And I really like the idea of, having like a sign out in the hallway where they can kind of go themselves and do it. And that sounds like a nice way to kind of so it's not so much pressure on them. Manisha, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
No, I think Ms. Muncher, she kind of touched on all points. The earlier you start, the better it is. Find collaborators within your community. I think that is really, that helps you a lot. Find collaborators among your students, because that helps a lot, because you are doing so many things. As a counselor, you're doing so much that, the more assistance you have, the better the program will be, and that'll give you also some kind of, okay, I'm not doing it all by myself. I'm not having to do it all by myself. So you can coordinate. So I think collaboration is really, that is one point I would stress on. Yes. And so kind of touching on the logistics side of planning this sort of event. So of course and everyone on this call knows how busy the month of May is. And so it can be a really large lift for one person. And so, we've already kind of touched on this, but like, who are the key individuals that a counselor can rely on to plan this sort of event? Is there a committee that you might put together? And then are there any tips on working with a limited budget for this type of event? And that's for Kelly, sorry.
I'm sorry, my budget, I'm very lucky that my parent teacher organization provides the cake. And then I don't have a budget for anything else, because they do cake and punch for afterwards. Let me think. Let's see, we did cake last year and punch. And then I bought the cups out of my counseling budget. And then the recruiters provided the certificates and everything. And then because of, I'm sorry, somebody had to ask a question I was trying to answer. But for everything else, I do not print certificates like I used to. When I had a smaller class, I would present certificates if the schools didn't present certificates for the accepted scholarships. But I don't do that anymore because so many schools will send those in advance. I don't do that anymore because I just do like, so like when I'm doing like Jimmy John has been awarded a total of $150,000 scholarships. So if my recruiters are able to make it, they bring the scholarship box themselves. And if they're not, like USA mailed them all to me last week, just in case they're not able to get here. So I mean, I try my hardest to start promoting as soon as we declare the date. And we actually met, I mean, I've known this date since February because we looked at our calendar early enough when we set the last activity for the students. So we have known that this was going to be the last open date because it was either going to be the 21st or the 27th. And we didn't want to do it prom day because we knew they wouldn't be here. So
True. So yeah, and I would like to add, like, if you all need any assistance, like, we can also reach out to our sponsors and see if we can assist you. Like maybe Taco Bell can serve some tacos. I don't know. Milo's Tea can give some Milos. Really, like anything. If like, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll see what we can do. We might not be able to, get to all the requests, but we will try our best to get to at least as many as we can. So yeah, reach out to us if you need any assistance.
Yes, and I think too, one of the opportunities, I think, in terms of working with a limited budget, but thinking outside of your school, if you have other like community groups or organizations that are working inside of your school, they probably have a vested interest in celebrating seniors too. So seeing how you can partner with them, maybe they can bring some outside resources, like Manisha was saying, to your decision day event. And so, of course, that would, I feel like, if you have some money to plan an event, it's definitely, a little bit of stress off your shoulder, right? We do have a couple of, not necessarily comments, but I do want to read, or I'm sorry, not necessarily questions, but we have some comments in the chat. This is from Christine, and they say, teachers have been very good at GoFundMe for a particular effort. Any amount helps and they will donate. There are many vendors that donate. Some, I can't read that word for some reason.
Some of their wares.
Some of their wares, yes. I've got a little box over one of the words. As a promotional, and just print their names on the program. And then she said, note, cheap way to advertise. And then Emily writes, we are doing something similar, but 2 different events. Senior Recognition Day, we will recognize college acceptance and scholarships, but also have a way to make sure that every senior gets honored at least once. For example, band, sports, CTE programs, clubs, etc. And then College and Career Decision Day and Parade of Graduates. We are asking students to wear their decision shirts under their gowns. This could be college, employment, military, etc. We plan to have a photo area with our school logo, backdrop, graduation props, signs, allowing them to write where they are heading or their future plans. We have a little bit of money left, so we are planning to have some light refreshments and breakfast items. That's a good idea. We will be doing a senior yearbook signing at the same time, so it's basically just going to be a senior party. I love that. After that, we will bus our seniors to our elementary and intermediate schools and conclude at the junior high/high school to walk through the halls. That's a great idea. I love how you're incorporating using the underclassmen, but even like the junior high students, and letting them see, what their future is going to look like in just a few years. And then she finishes out, this is my first year as a career coach, and we have all new admins, so we're late planning this. So I'm excited to see how it turns out. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, Emily. And does anyone else have any other questions? We had some questions, but I feel like Kelly and Manisha ran
There
through
are
those.
there are some questions on the chat. And please, 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 whatever you all are doing, share pictures with us, share videos with us. You can do is, since we want to celebrate each and every student, so the ones who haven't made any decision. So like I said, we can share the progress that they have made since they have been a senior to where they are now. So that is the thing that you can share. And I saw another one talking about scholarships. So you can share the total scholarships the students have received from different colleges, and then make an announcement about the college they decided to go to. So, but you can share the total scholarship that they have received from all the colleges. And that's what you can mention in the announcement. Student so-and-so has received $150 million in scholarship and from different colleges and has decided to go to this college. So that is what you can do for that one. I am trying to see. And what I'll do is, for those who have asked the question about what if they don't have a plan, I'll send out an email also. This follow-up email will have some more bullet points on what all you could do to celebrate them. Okay, I think yeah,
that's all from the chat.
Yeah. Okay. So if nobody has any question, we'll move on to the next part. So here's a quick survey, and I will launch. Thank you again, Ms. Lawrence, for bringing that to my notice. And I am going to again launch that. So this is the way you get your professional development hours. On PowerSchool, you have to go and make sure within the next 24 to 48 hours that you already register yourselves on PowerSchool if you haven't. And the course number is mentioned over here. The section number is mentioned. So make sure you register yourselves in order for you to get the credit hours. So this is one of our resource over here, help desk. You can call us. We are available during working hours. If it is beyond working from 8 to 5, we are available. If we are not, then we ensure that we call back within the next day. We call you all back if it's after hours. And the telephone number is 334-316-6155. And you can, like I said, email us at algoestocollege@alabamapossible.org if you have any questions or need any assistance. Stay connected. Here's our website. The phone number again is mentioned, and that's the email. So, and I would like to thank all of you for again attending this webinar. I know you all have 1,000 other things to do, but you all decided to make the choice of spending the hour with us on Wednesday morning. So I hope this was beneficial. Please let us know if you need anything.